What's going on YouTube? Back here with another video today. In today's video we're going to be installing the JC Customs pulley bridge. I've been wanting to install this for a little while now, just haven't got around to it, so that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to go over the benefits. I'll put the stock pulley bridge next to it, kind of compare and show you guys what's the deal is with this. But first I wanted to show you guys the progress that I've been making on the grill deletes. As you can see, I got one pretty much made. I had to take my old one, plot it, draw it up, make a drawing out of it, and then I was able to throw a piece of material up on the machine and it came out pretty good. There is some tweaking to do on some of the radiuses that don't quite fit the way I want. It's rubbing in some areas. This all clears pretty well, but it's still rubbing a bit down here, and as you can see it's got this funky little thing going on with it. So I do want to still tweak it and perfect it, but I just wanted to show you guys that progress is being made and it's actually coming out a lot smoother than I expected. It's not easy when you're having to fabricate something pretty much from nothing, because no one really makes these. There's really nothing out there, and I'm basically just winging it because this one I made completely by hand, and that's why it's got these little jagged edges and stuff like that. So now that I'm not making it by hand no more, it is a little tough trying to get the radiuses and the blends right and everything, but progress is being made, guys. Just so you can see that I'm not just sitting around. I am working really hard on getting these out to you guys. No, they're not ready yet. Like I said, I want to do some more tweaking, perfecting, and make sure I get a really good product to you guys. So give me some more time. I still got to figure out cost of material and all that stuff. I just used some material we had laying around, so it didn't cost me anything. But I am gonna have to order material, figure out costs for that, figure out the time I have into these, and so on and so forth before I get actual pricing and can get these to you guys. So just be patient with me. They are coming. I am working on them. As you can see, just a little more tweaking and perfecting to do, but overall it is coming out pretty nice. So working on those. Another little update that I have for you guys. I got the mid plate for the TVS swap all anodized, and it came out really nice. Black anodized should look a lot more stealthy and just nice in the engine bay. Kind of go for a sleek look. I didn't want the billet polished look. I kind of like it just being stealthy. You won't be able to see anything really underneath. So that's done and pretty much ready to go. Nice black anodized. Also black anodized the throttle body adapter that we probably won't be using, so I am going to get a bigger throttle body. I don't want to bottleneck the air with the Lightning throttle body, and I black anodized the IAC adapter as well. So that's done. But today we're going to be installing the pulley bridge. I had this clear anodized. I went ahead and went with clear. I wanted to keep the billet shiny look, wanted a little bit of bling under the hood, but we did want to protect it from the elements, because aluminum over time will kind of corrode and turn a little dull and powdery from the elements and water and all the grease and stuff in the engine bay and whatnot. So I did want to protect it, and we went ahead and sent it for a clear anodized. It should have a nice protection from the elements, but it still looks pretty good and shiny, as you guys can see. I don't think the camera's doing this thing any justice. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's going to add some nice bling to the engine bay. So we're gonna be working on that today. I'm gonna get that installed. But first, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take the stock bridge off. Super easy. Probably not gonna show that in a video because it's just a couple bolts and it comes right off. It's super simple. So take the belt off. There is a couple mounting points with some nuts and bolts, and it should come right off. So we're gonna get that off, and then we'll do a side-by-side comparison. And I'll show you the benefits of going with this JC bridge, other than just obviously the beautiful looks of it. I mean, this thing is gonna look sick. So I'm gonna go ahead and start by getting the stock pulley bridge off, then I'll come back to you guys. And while we're talking about this is the perfect opportunity to remind you guys that this channel is sponsored by JC Customs. As you can see, he makes all kinds of badass billet parts for our trucks. This is his pulley bridge, and he also makes custom pulleys that go with it as well. This is his mid plate, of course, for the TVS or GT500 M122 swaps that you can do to these trucks. And he makes these plates, the adapters, all kinds of badass billet parts for our trucks. So go check him out. I'm gonna put a link in the description to his website as well as his social media. And make sure when you shop with him, you use code Debtlife to get 10% off your order. That's right, 10%. So make sure you save some cash and use code Debtlife when you check out with JC Customs. Go check out all the badass stuff he makes for our trucks. All kinds of badass billet parts for our platform, as well as other platforms. So go check him out, use code Debtlife, save some cash, and you're also gonna be supporting the channel. This is all from you guys using my code. If you guys didn't see that video, I'll put a card up in the top corner there. You can click that and go check that out after you watch this video. But all this stuff is from you guys using our code. He hooked us up and sent us some badass parts. So I appreciate you guys using the code and supporting the channel, as well as supporting JC, because he's a badass dude that makes all kinds of billet stuff for our trucks. And he truly is helping keep the platform alive. There's not a whole lot of vendors that have the same passion he does and putting all the hard work into development and some badass parts for our trucks. So go check him out, link in the description, use code Debtlife for 10% off, and we're getting back to this video. All right, so I got the old one off, as you can see. Here's the new one. I swapped my Metco pulleys over to the new one because I'm gonna be running these instead of the JC pulleys. Nothing against the JC pulleys, as they're actually really freaking nice, but I have already upgraded to dual bearing 100mm idler pulleys. These are 90mm single bearing, and the reason I went to dual bearing is I had a lot of issues blowing through bearings for some reason. I don't know if it's because of the increased load I'm putting on them or how hard I'm spinning them, but with the single bearings, they never lasted very long. They'd always go out pretty quickly and then squeak, and I'd make all kinds of noise. So I upgraded to all my pulleys are double bearing. Even the tensioner one, Metco sells a billet tensioner pulley that's double bearing as well. And I had to make spacers in order for it to fit correctly because it is wider. So I'm going to go ahead and move all my Metco double bearing pulleys over to the new bridge. Not, like I said, nothing's wrong with these pulleys. These are actually really nice quality pieces, but why downgrade when I already have the 100mm Metco ones? So I wanted to touch on the differences between the bridges real quick and why this is a really good upgrade. Basically, your stock configuration is going to look something like this, and it's going to be routed up to the supercharger. Now, the closer you can move this pulley in and up, the less belt slip you're going to have, because it increases the belt wrap around that top upper pulley, as well as this pulley here, because you're pushing it inwards. So basically increasing belt wrap and contact area the further you can move it in. And that's why Metco makes the auxiliary idler bracket. Basically where that goes, on your stock bridge, let's see if I can set this somewhere. This will mount here, and you can see how much further up and in it moves your pulley. And that's essentially what the JC pulley bridge does. Instead of running this idler bracket, the pulley bridge, you can see, positions the pulley a lot further up. And it also has adjustability to it depending on what kind of spacers or blower setup you're running. If you have one of his mid plates with the built-in spacer, you can adjust your pulley up and down accordingly to get the amount of belt wrap and belt position you want. So it's really nice having that adjustability there, and it's going to have some performance aspects to it as well, especially if you're coming from the stock configuration like this. So like I said, the further up and in you can move that pulley, the more belt wrap you're going to create, and that's going to be less belt slip. So really good performance aspect to it, as well as just a really incredibly sick look. So you can see this adjusts up and down. You tighten it up when you get it to where you want it, and you're good to go. So it's going to be a really nice piece. And I went ahead while I was at it and got all new hardware. If anyone else wants to do it, this is M8 by 1.25. I got zinc coated because I think they stay nicer for longer. As you can tell, my hardware was all corroded and nasty. So I figured while we're at it, may as well get all new mounting hardware. So this thing looks really nice. We're gonna go ahead and get it mounted up in the truck, and I'll come back to you guys. All right, so everything's installed. As you can see, looks really nice. Really happy with how it came out. Adds a little bit of bling to the engine bay, and I like the machine marks here. You kind of see that it's custom and looks really good. All the nice new hardware you can see there. Nice new bolts. Everything looks nice and shiny. I like replacing all the little hardware like that while you're doing it, just because it makes it look so much cleaner than putting a rusty nut back on that. Everything looks really good. You can see when I was talking about this top pulley, how the closer it is up and in, the more it increases the wrap around this top pulley. You can see it comes all the way down underneath it now, and then wraps around this pulley as well. It's really, really nice. That should help really compete with the belt slip. Not that I was having a whole lot anyways, because I did have the auxiliary idler, but this does push it a little further over, and it's adjustable up and down. Now, the hardware that holds the back of this on, there is a bolt that goes through the back of this that clamps down and holds it onto the bridge. It comes with a bolt like this, but this really is not going to work because you can see it is a tight fit with this radiator hose right here. The only position that that bolt clears is that all the way down at the bottom. It kind of goes underneath the hose, and all the way at the top it's still pressing into the hose a little bit. You can see it there. So what I did is I went up to Ace Hardware and I got a lower profile bolt. You can see the difference between these two. This is much lower profile. It fits inside the counter bore of the little fitting that screws into the back and clamps it to the bridge. And it sits a lot lower and it's rounded, so it's not going to dig into the upper radiator hose like this one might have. See, it's kind of sharp and protrudes quite a bit, and this didn't fit into the counter bore of the fitting. So this fits a lot lower profile. It's hard for you guys to see, but it's very tight fit, and with the bolt he provides, it's just not going to work. So that's the only thing that I would change about pretty much the whole setup. Everything else fit really good, bolted right up. I went and got new hardware for everything, even for the tensioner bolts. Everything is zinc plated and nice, so it won't corrode or rust. And yeah, so I mean, just go and get a new one of these. It's M8 by 1.25. Get a lower profile screw like you see there, and you'll be good to go. It's a little bit of a pain tightening that back bolt, because the radiator hose is right there, but if you have a flexible enough one, you can push it down real hard and get a wrench in there and tighten it, or just remove the upper radiator hose for now. It's not really that hard to do anyways, and it's not really that big of a deal. But overall, I'm super happy. It looks really nice and really clean, and adds a little bit of bling to the engine bay. So overall, super happy, guys. Make sure if you want one of these, you can go pick one up. I'll leave a link in the description, and use code DEBTLIFE for that 10% off. There's a huge savings on something like this. It's really going to save you some cash, and yeah, it really adds a lot of bling to the engine bay. I am super stoked. Looks really good. The truck's really coming together. Not that it wasn't, but just little details like this I think make a big difference, and it just looks really nice, guys. Super happy. So next video we'll be doing a test run. We'll do some test hits on the draggy and stuff like that, and see how much belt slip we have, and see how much this really improves. I mean, I tried to move this thing as far up as I could with still being able to get the belt in there. You can see it's really close. I could barely fit the belt in that gap, but it fits. It's all good, and it should be ready to go. But that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. Make sure you drop a thumbs up on it, hit the like button, like the video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more. All kinds of Lightning content, with a ton of content to come. We're gonna get this bad boy on there and start making some power. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you're subscribed, and make sure you hit the bell next to it so you don't miss out on any of our future content to come. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of everything. Let me know what you think of the truck and the progression and the way it's just coming together. And I'm really happy with it. So anyways, guys, we'll see you on the next video.